What if everything you've been told about learning a new skill is completely wrong? Not slightly off, not outdated, completely, fundamentally wrong. For decades, one single idea has quietly killed more dreams than failure ever could. And chances are it's already working on yours right now. You've heard of the 10,000-hour rule. The idea that mastery requires years of grinding, relentless, often joyless practice before you ever get to the good part. But here's what nobody told you. That rule was never meant for you. It was built for Olympic athletes, concert pianists, and chess grandmasters chasing world-class perfection. Not for someone who simply wants to actually enjoy a skill in their own lifetime. So the real question isn't how long it takes to become the best. The real question is, what if good enough gets you everything you actually want, and it's only 20 hours away? Let's be honest about something most people won't say out loud. You have a list. Maybe it lives in your notes app. Maybe it's just a quiet voice in the back of your head. But it's there. Learn guitar. Pick up Spanish. Finally get comfortable in the gym. Start coding. And that list has been sitting untouched. Not because you don't want those things, but because somewhere along the way you accepted a story about yourself. That you're too busy. That you're too old to start. That other people have a natural talent you simply weren't born with. You watch someone play an instrument effortlessly and think they must have started young. You see someone speak a second language and assume that's just not how my brain works. And so the list stays on the shelf and another year goes by. Here's what makes this particularly painful. It's not laziness keeping you stuck. It's a lie you were handed so early and so often that it started to feel like the truth. The belief that if you can't commit to, here is the truth that changes everything. Research shows that the majority of your skill improvement, the part that takes you from complete beginner to genuinely capable, doesn't happen over thousands of hours. It happens in the first 20. This is called the power law of practice, and it means your learning curve is steepest right at the beginning. The progress you make in your first 20 focused hours is more dramatic than anything that comes after. Think about what that actually means. 20 hours. That's less than 3 full days. Spread across a month, that's 40 minutes a day. Less time than most people spend scrolling before bed. The reason most people never experience this is because they quit inside the first 5 hours. Right in the middle of what researchers call the frustration barrier. That uncomfortable window where you're bad at something and you know it. But if you understand that the frustration barrier is temporary, that it's not a sign you're incapable, but a sign you're right on schedule, everything changes. You don't need to become the next expert. You need to become good enough to enjoy it, use it, and feel proud of it. And that version of you is only 20 hours of intelligent practice away. So let me ask you this. What would you start tonight if you knew the fun part was just 20 hours ahead? Now I want to stop here for a second, because a very predictable thought just entered your mind. This sounds too simple. There has to be a catch. And that skepticism is actually healthy. But it's also the exact thing that has kept you from starting for years. Here's the catch, and it's not what you think. The obstacle was never time. It was never talent. The real obstacle is that we've been taught to measure success against an impossible standard. We compare our beginning to someone else's middle. We watch a guitarist with 10 years of practice and feel embarrassed by our 3-week attempt. We hear someone speak French fluently and delete our language app out of shame. But you were never competing with them. The only standard that matters is whether the skill adds value, joy, or capability to your life. When you stop chasing a finish line that was never meant for you, you free yourself to actually enjoy the journey. And ironically, that's exactly when people get good faster. The pressure of perfection is the enemy of progress. And the moment you decide that good enough is genuinely enough, not as a consolation prize, but as a deliberate, intelligent choice, you unlock something most people spend their whole lives waiting for. So, here is where you are right now. You know the 10,000 hour myth was never your rule to follow. You know the frustration barrier is temporary and predictable. You know that 20 focused hours stands between you and a skill you've wanted for years. The only thing left is the decision. And I want you to understand something about decisions. They don't feel dramatic when they matter most. Nobody picks up a guitar for the first time with a film score playing in the background. They just pick it up on a quiet Tuesday evening and start. The people who build skills that genuinely improve their lives are not the most talented, the most disciplined, or the ones with the most free time. They're the ones who stopped waiting for the perfect moment and started inside an imperfect one. Your someday list doesn't need another year of good intentions. It needs 20 hours and a decision made today. So pick one thing, just one, and commit to your first 20 hours. Not because you're going to be the best, but because you deserve to find out how good you can actually be. And listen, what I just shared with you is only the beginning. At MindNudge, every single video pulls back another curtain that most people never even knew existed. Subscribe right now and turn on notifications, because the next video carries information that people are already using to get ahead. And once you fall behind on this, you'll feel it. Don't be the person who finds this channel 6 months late. You found MindNudge today. That's not an accident.